YouTube, hello. Thank you so much for joining me for this one. If you are a fan of this channel, you know that I follow politics like crazy, but I also am really pleasantly surprised, like I was at the South Carolina abortion law being struck down until like Rebecca Bradley was complaining. Why are you bringing this thing now? Because there's a change in the composition of the court. I'll have another video about that because she was surely showing her entire butt during those proceedings. But I am pleasantly surprised at Kansas, who not only turned back an abortion, who not only rejected a referendum that said that there is no right to abortion care, but the Kansas Supreme Court recently here is the title: Medically Wrong and Ethically Unjustifiable. Kansas abortion law struck down as judge deems waiting period unconstitutional. Now, I just did a video about Michigan and the 24 hours law, and I will card that or whatever else, or link it down below. So this is what this judge has had to say. In Kansas, a new law that was recently voted into effect that detailed specific information that abortion providers were required to tell patients. Kansas had required a 24-hour waiting period for women seeking abortion since the 1990s. This week, a district judge ruled that law unconstitutional and said it could not be upheld. Judge K. Christopher Jairam, I don't know if I'm saying that right, said that while he understood that it was a contentious issue with deeply held beliefs on each side, legislators must uphold the state constitution. The state's capacity to legislate pursuant to its own moral scruples is necessarily curbed by the Constitution, by the Kansas Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, Judge Jairam said. Emily Wales, Planned Parenthood Great Plains president and CEO, spoke on the clinical perspective of the restrictions. Each day these restrictions went into effect, we've been forced to turn people away for reasons that are medically wrong and ethically unjustifiable. While Kansas's legislature is Republican-led, the state has been protective of abortion rights since before Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022. In 2019, Kansas's Supreme Court concreted the state's abortion protections. In a bombshell ruling that's rocked state politics, the Supreme Court of Kansas determined that abortion was included in the natural right of personal autonomy, enshrined in the state's constitution. The ruling came in response to a bill that would have banned most second trimester abortions. That bill was blocked as a result of the court's decision. And now these fuckaroos called the Alliance Defending Freedom, aka Religious Tyranny, is representing anti-abortion activists in Kansas and plans to continue the fight to ban abortion in the state. Referring to informed consent laws like the existing 24-hour waiting period that was required before a woman could access abortion, an attorney named Caleb Dalton from Alliance Defending so-called Freedom defended their stance. These kinds of informed consent laws reflect the long-standing will of the people of Kansas. Kansans are right to want to protect maternal health and the safety and the lives of the unborn, and we will continue defending their interests, Dalton said. Judge Jairam noted that there is no credible evidence that the mandatory delays imposed by the acts for arbitrary periods of time are likely to, in fact, improve either the consent or decision-making process by pregnant patients or conduct by the medical profession. Republicans in the legislature have created laws imposing other restrictions on abortion access and what information must be given to patients by their providers. One recent law states that the physician providing abortions have to inform patients of a medical regimen that anti-abortion activists claim reverse the effects of a medication abortion. Judge Jairam said that he had researched the regimen and determined that there is no evidence for its effectiveness and that it could possibly have ill effects on the patient. Since surrounding states have outright banned abortion after the Supreme Court toppled Roe v. Wade, Kansas has seen an influx of abortion-seeking visitors from out of state. The rate of abortion in Kansas increased by 57% in 2022. Advocates argued that the law restricting abortion access in Kansas were causing more problems than ever since Kansas is now serving so many patients. An attorney for the Center for Reproductive Rights, Alice Wang, said that the restrictions are especially harmful now that Roe v. Wade was overturned, and Kansas clinics are overwhelmed with patients from neighboring states where abortion is banned. So pretty much I have always, there have been no real, the only thing that is sought in these 24-hour waiting periods is pretty much they want to be able to go back to, pretty much they want to put another roadblock in the way of legal access to abortion. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you have access to it if you can't get it when you need it. So I'm really glad that the Supreme Court of Kansas struck down the 24-hour waiting law. I am glad that the Kansas Supreme Court has now protected this right in a way that really makes sense. So thank you so much for joining me for this. You have a great one, and I'll talk to you soon.